Hello, Jeff Sauer here, aka Jefflytics, and today I want to do a quick video about how do you clean up the advanced segments you have in Google Analytics. How do you make sense of advanced segments? How do you make sure that they're not shared where you don't want them to be? And so when you are looking at the advanced segmentation interface in Google Analytics, how do you make the most sense of it? And so we're really talking about advanced segments today. And this is sparked by a question that recently came in the forums of my analytics course. And it's basically saying, I love doing advanced segments. I like it so much that I have them all over the place and that there's so many of them that it's really difficult for me to manage them. And basically, as I go through multiple accounts, work on multiple clients, how do I handle this? And so I was like, yeah, this is something that I probably need to clean up myself because I have built tons of advanced segments across many accounts, many clients. And I do notice sometimes when I'm doing analysis that I have segmentation that I don't really want or that I don't really need. And so what we're going to do now is just go into Google Analytics and talk a little bit about managing our segments. Okay, so here we are in Google Analytics. I'm sure that all of you recognize this interface. We're looking at the Jefflytics account. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to click on the Add Segment button. And you notice here that I've added many segments over the years into this account. And this is just one of many accounts that I maintain. And it has all kinds of different interesting things that are in here. We have like our exclude bot traffic. We have female visitors. I've created segments around certain ages of female visitors. A lot of this I do during my training or to write things for blog posts or just to push out ideas for people to understand what you can do with segmentation. And so some of these things are in various rules and everything. But if you look through these, you might find that they meet certain criteria that maybe is very specific to a certain site. So for example, some sites may find this to be useful female versus male, some may not. But when you log into your Google Analytics, every single web property you have, every view you have gets segments unless you choose not to. So the question that we had from our forum post is, how do we get rid of this? So the first thing we do is when we look at our segments and you want to add a new segment, notice within here, this is really small, really hard to find, but it says segment is visible in any view. So when you're creating a segment, by default, you are making it so that every view you have access to is getting that segment. And so the first thing you can do is you can change and you can say, I want to apply it to just a certain view, to any view, or I want collaborators on the account to be able to apply and segment that view as well. So I would actually recommend in most cases if you're doing a specific segment, unless you want every single view you have to see it, I would choose on this specific view or in collaborators in that view. So if you choose this option, it doesn't pollute your entire account, it just provides the value within this view. And I think that's probably the better way to go about doing this is to apply it just to your certain view. And then as you just build a segment out like you normally would. I assume that you've built out a segment at this point, but basically you can go through and you can choose what conditions you want. You want to do it around traffic. You can make a segment around pretty much anything that's available in Google Analytics. You can build out your segments, and now it's only available within your view. So one way to keep it clean is when you create a new view, only make it available for your view. Now what about your existing ones? What about ones that you only want to be available for a certain view? We see things like desktop. It's funny that Google doesn't have a desktop segment by default. They only have mobile, but I digress on that one. But say that this one is really specific. Females 18 to 44 is really specific. So what I might do here is instead of the way that I'm looking at this is I might edit it. Now, when you hit the edit button, notice that it says it's visible in any view. I can change that to say only in this view, or only for people who are collaborating on here. And if you're not sure what anything means in Google Analytics, just hover over it and it will tell you what this means. If they have the collaborate permission in this view, then they can view that segment and they can apply it. So if you're working with many people in your account and many people working together, I would definitely recommend checking this option because it allows not only you, but also you and others who you're collaborating with to have access to that segment. So this is nice. It's a nice feature, but it's a buried feature. You really hardly can find it in there. So notice how I change this and then it is there. And if I save, now females 18 to 44 will be available on this account, but it won't be available on my other ones. And so that's nice. I mean, we're cleaning things up. Another thing is when you're looking at your segments, you're going to default to the all view. You can look at the system generated ones. I like to star the ones that I use often, so you can look at your starred reports, You can look at the ones that you've shared. Now notice that I've shared this. Now this is populated in here. Now notice that this is the only one that's in the shared because I haven't shared them across accounts, but every time that you do make a share with other people, this will be put into there. Custom are the ones that we created on our own. So notice that a lot of the ones that we saw originally are customs, and then selected are the ones that you actually have applied to your account right now. And you can share any segment you want to across accounts, but that's really what you can do with this, is that instead of sharing it across everything, every account you work with, in my case I work with hundreds of accounts, and does every one of those hundreds of accounts need to see this particular segment? Probably not. The other thing that while you're in here, if you go to your admin section and then you go into the segments under your personal tools and assets, you can see the segments that you've created, and then you can go in here and you can delete them, you can share them, you can move them around. But notice as we're looking through them, it doesn't distinguish whether they're applied to all sites or just some. But if you were to go in there, you can look at any one of your segments and you can say, okay, I want to change this to a certain view or anywhere that I want to do that. And so you can just clean up your segments so that when you're looking through your account, you're not seeing hundreds of different segments. You're just looking at the ones that are relevant for that particular view. And so that's really how simple it is to improve upon your segmentation. I would recommend as a periodic activity that all of us go through every few months and clean this up. And I know that some of you probably have been frustrated with this for a while, not knowing how to clean it up. So this video is really meant to be a reality check and also a call to action for you. And that is, go out and clean out your segments. And if you have cool segments that you've been using and they're valuable for your business, then share them with others. That's the whole point here, right? The whole point of analytics is to share the good things and to make everybody better. So if you've been doing a lot of legwork, then share that with others, and your legwork will become more appreciated and it will add more value to your organization. So that's it for our Google Analytics portion of this video. So what did we learn from this? By default, all the segments we have are for our entire email address, every account we work in. And so you want to limit that if you want to not be overwhelmed when you log in, if you're using segmentation a lot. If you want to clean this up, then I recommend that you share it with the views only. Share with others early and often. That's how you really make analytics stick within your organization. And go ahead and periodically clean things up every 3 to 6 months, and that way you aren't overwhelmed when you're looking to apply segmentation. So that's all for our video today. For more videos, visit our YouTube channel at youtube.com/c/jefflytics or visit jefflytics.com.